Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I am going to be doing a mixture of a few things in this video. In the past, I've done a video on something I called a Pokemon checklist, and it was an Android application I was working on. I stopped working on it altogether due to not it being a daunting task as far as it being hard or whatever, but basically by it just being busy work. A lot of busy work is in it. For those of you who don't know, look up what Pokemon is, and there's like a huge fan base for it. And originally I was thinking it was going to be a great challenge to not for myself, but to make a tutorial series on. But it's just gotten to the point where there's 1,000 of these things, or close to 1,000 of these things, and especially with this new application I'm working on with it to basically redo it, it's going to be even worse. So basically there's close to 1,000 of these things, and it gets to the point where it's just too much for one person to sit down and type out 1,000 of these names, then put in 1,000 of these icons, and then link 1,000 times, just doing copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste over and over and over, and modifying as you go. It's to the point where it's like I don't want to even deal with it. So with that, I'm restarting this entire project because I can't find the old code. So, and it allows me to basically go 10 times more than what the normal was, especially with now the features that we have available now. And with that, if you are interested in this coming out soon, so sooner than later, then I want you to go to the description below, and there's a GitHub link to this particular project. And if you don't know how to use GitHub, fine, I got a video on that, and I got Android tutorial videos that come out regularly. And I want you to help me out on this, basically filling out the names, filling out the icons, and stuff like that. And given that everything's good and whatever, try to merge it with my stuff. I will take a look at it, make sure you're not being an idiot, being a troll, doing something stupid. But basically, I'll take a look at it. If it's good, then I will merge it, and we'll go from there, because that will take a huge amount of work off of my plate, because it's not difficult. It's more of like I can make the list, but I got to put in a name for each one, put in for the, like, I got to upload an icon per each one, then put in the link to the icon within the application itself for each one. It's boring as all out. And you're talking about doing it 1,000 times. Then this one is going to be even worse, because this is going to have a status page, which is going to have several things. Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm pretty sure you can't see it, but basically it's going to have a picture at the top of status page. It's going to have the abouts, so whatever probably is on Wiki or whatever, and then it goes from there, and basically that's daunting in itself. So as far, and you got to keep in mind, it's like, okay, you got to make a crap ton of code on part of the application. On how it's going to work is there's going to be a main page, and basically what's the main page is going to have is it's going to have a top section, which is just going to say the name of the thing. So let's pull it up. So first off, sorry about the crappy drawing, but it is what it is. And basically, if you watched my video on how to design your application, as far as what put on paper to actually make the actual product. And that way you don't just go in there having an idea and then forgetting parts of it, and you can design things, just trying to get all your creativity out as quickly as possible, and that way you can actually get a successful product at the end, or at least you can see if it could be a successful product at the end. You'll know that part of it, I said, don't worry about spelling, don't worry about looks, you're just trying to get crap out as quickly as possible. Well, same applies here, so keep that in mind. So on the home page, what I'm trying to do is have a top area where it's going to have either the name, icon of the application, or whatever it may be, and also below that it's going to or it's going to say some updates, like new game coming out from Nintendo or whatever. And then below that it's going to say some random stuff. So you use the application to pass it. Say you last updated this list, blah blah blah, or your highest level, whatever is whatever, or some random info from the status page as far as the abouts of whatever item or whatever. And then below that, and by the way, before I forget, if you can make icons and whatever, then please feel free to let me know, and just upload them somewhere so I can check it out. I'm not going to download whatever, so don't send me a file. I'm not dealing with that crap. But just upload it somewhere, say Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever, and just make sure that I can see it from the website itself, and that way I can say, okay, that's great or not. And if you can make an icon for the actual application itself, then great. If not, then not. But again, as far as that goes, below that it's going to be like a search checklist. All this stuff is going to probably change by the end of it, but it's just general as far as right now. The checklist itself, it's going to be a what I'm thinking is almost like a drop down, so you can say what version you're looking at. So Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, whatever, and or red, blue, whatever. And basically you can get a you can select the generation, and have all the stuff go down from there. So you can have this area being like, say, Gen 1, Gen whatever, and all of it will be up to or stop, or whatever. I got to figure out how it's going to look, but you select that, it goes down and it shows you all the stuff within that, this being items and also the Pokemon itself. And you can select from the chat boxes, and then you got icons and actual name of the thing. If you select the actual thing, it will take you to the status page, but from that, hopefully that gives you a good idea for the checklist area. The search itself, basically it's going to have a text search, so if you actually know the proper name, then great. And unfortunately, spelling has to be right. Like, there is no halfway on this. Then below that, we're going to have a drop-down menu. So you can say, if you don't know the name or you know the about, you can go to the drop-down menu, and I guess on the first one, I'm going to have what generation and or which game, and at the default it's going to say all, but that way you can down select and say, oh, I wanted this from the latest generation, and you can search exactly. And then you have to press the actual search button so the thing doesn't accidentally take you to the status page. It's a little bit more friendlier. But anyways, let's go to the settings. The settings, in fact, let's just go down to status page. The status page, what's going to have is the actual icon I don't think I'm going to use another picture than the icons itself to keep the application as small as possible, because we're talking about a lot of people out there who might have not much of as far away as a good device. We're talking about probably majority being kids, so they're not going to have the best devices in memory and whatever. So, and since all the images and stuff has to be stored on the phone itself or device itself, it's best to keep it as small as possible. So maybe an icon is really all we can do. I gotta take a look. Maybe we can do actual pictures, but then I'll grab them from Wiki, or someone can grab them from Wiki. But because I'm pretty sure there's some pretty good pictures on there that can fill in this area. But then below that, we got a about, so it's probably gonna be whatever from Wiki. And below that, it says what generation you're trying to hunt them for, or get the item at, or whatever. And you can select the generation, and then below that, it's going to say where you need to look. Maybe if I do this, what can happen is, if it's a item, it won't show a button, but if it's an actual Pokemon or whatever that's generation specific, not like an item just came out or whatever, because items you get at stores most of the time, as far as I know. It's been so long since I haven't dealt with that. We're talking about probably about a decade or so things may have changed by now. But as far as, if I remember right, you get pretty much all the items at stores, and everywhere else is pretty much random. So you can't say go here to get this unless it's like very specific. I can't remember what, but I think there was an item too that's very specific. So I don't know. Maybe for those I can actually have if it's item X, and item X being the ones you can get at specific locations, then show button. If it's Pokemon, then show button. Else don't show at all. So that has to be worked out, so on the back end and whatever. In fact, let me so there, I can take a look at it and remember that. This is part of the creative part, is you're going over your design and stuff, and the as long as you know what the meaning behind, say, the crappy spelling, the crappy writing, the crappy design, as long as you know what the meaning is, that's good enough. If you're in a team, you need to get a little bit something a little bit better, but it has to start with something like this. Then you can transfer it, say you make it a little bit more professional design, but it has to start with something like this. Then below here you can have like an add button, and below that it'll be a statistics. So what level is it, and so I don't know if I'm gonna do that, because if I remember right, the levels do change. Maybe I'll leave it at that, because I think people do it just collecting some, just to collect some, and then trying to collect some at specific levels. What level is it? Is it shiny? Is it whatever? And the date and maybe time that you collected it. And was it from a trade? Did it evolve? What it evolved from, and maybe some way you can say, like if we go to the list itself, basically my general idea is if you go to the list, what would happen is you will get the actual item or the Pokemon itself, you can select on it, get get a chart of it, so it says the date you got it, the level, this, that, and another, and you can go down to list, maybe. So reorder the chart. What else do we want to do? So you reorder the chart. Oh, and also the status page. What I'm thinking about doing is add a note section. So maybe. So maybe where you can add a name itself. So you can say you can specialize name whatever. I don't know if you name it in the game or not, but maybe that'll match. I have to take a look at that. But basically, you can name it, I guess, and a name will show up, so it makes it easier for you to sort stuff out if you want. Or by default, the so basically, by default, if you don't want to name it, it'll be like 1, 2, 3, whatever. And since it'll go to the bottom of the category, you I gotta think about that, because I mean that's kind of confusing as all out. I don't know. I gotta really think about that once, and we're pretty far off from doing something like that. Depending on if I can get your help or not. Now, as far as the settings, if we take a look at the settings, what we'll have is at the very top, what I tend to like to do at times is put like a about and also a short how to, and possibly a button is linking the person to a YouTube video on how to use the actual product so they can actually work. Then for this, because we're talking about a large amount of information, we're talking about kids that can, or really anyone from any age, but I'm thinking majority of users is going to be kids. So we're talking about people who probably are going to have a broken phone within some amount of time, or potentially have a broken phone, and then some other issues that can come up. So what we'll have is a syncability, so it goes to Dropbox, Google Drive, and whatever. And then below that, we'll have an opt-in, opt-out. And by default, I'm going to have it where you're opt-in to certain things. I don't know what is the entire list of things, but basically, I know I want to do remote notifications through the Firebase system, because Firebase is a new thing that literally just came out in the last few days. Even the website's broken, and it's from Google itself, so it tells you how new the thing is. Like I was even trying to pull it. Let me see if it's in fact, I'll show it later. Basically, it allows the developer to put in certain code. The Firebase system will, an update happens, the phone will look at the system every so often, and then the user, the developer on the Firebase system can change something. It will go down to the phone. I don't think they'll have it where it updates the application, without the marketplace, but you can send notifications. So check out whatever. a fix for blah 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 is coming. Yes, stuff like that. So the opt-ins, opt-outs, and then if a company wants to, like Nintendo wants to take it over, which I doubt it's going to happen, but we can all hope, and that's going to help out this channel a lot. But if they do, then I can just say, here, you can have this, and go from there. So the bottom portion is probably going to be like an email me. So the person, it's going to say, what do you want to email me about? So it's going to be a general a bug or a suggestion or whatever, the general suggestion or a bug. And then you press a button and it takes you to your Gmail application or email application. And it says in the subject line what I tell it to, and also a little bit on the text what I want it to, and also puts in my email address automatically there. And that way the user itself don't have to put in the email address. They don't have to worry about the subject line. They don't have to worry about this, more about that. And also that tells me what the actual email is about. So if they send no subject line, whatever, I might not look at it for a long time, or I might think it's spam. Whereas I could see the actual subject line and a little bit of the top, and I could say, okay, this is a bug and I need to take a look at it, or suggestion, I should take a look at it. So it helps me out on that massively, but also helps the user out. So they don't have to tell me which application they're talking about, because they can say, I have a bug with your one application where the syncing ability doesn't work. Well, there's probably about, let's say it's several years down the road. Well, there's probably like 20 applications. Which one? So with that, it's one of those things. So as far as that goes, this I'll see if I can link this in the description so you can take a look at it and whatever, and play with it. So getting into Firebase. Firebase is, again, something Google just put out. I'm probably going to put some videos out on it in the future as I gain more knowledge into it. But again, it's been out for like 48 hours, maybe 24 to 48 hours. And it's something, some of the things on here I want to use, like the notifications. So I could say, hey, update for whatever problem is going to be coming out soon. Or I can say something like, check out the following to help build a list, because I can easily see if the next games have 200 extra things, items, and whatever. What I can do is I can start it out the list, just do a copy and paste on like Google Drive or whatever, and I can say, give a little example at the top saying what needs to be done. So I say put in the actual name or whatever, and I can say help me out by put in the name and whatever. So I can just copy and paste whatever's there, take a look at it, obviously, so no one's going to say something stupid. And if people end up abusing it, then that's going to basically hurt everybody. I'm going to guarantee you that that's going to hurt everybody with this type of thing, because I'm doing it by myself for the most part. Like, I am asking for help, and I might get some help, but as far as I can see, I'll be pretty much doing 99, if not 100% of this by myself, and that's not something I want, but that's probably how it's going to end up being. So in order to keep the app alive, I might end up doing something like a Google Drive, a Google Doc, where it will say the names and stuff, and it will give you an example of where to copy and paste the name of whatever into the code, and go from there. And that way I can just copy and paste the entire thing and just throw it in the application. grab the icons, throw it in the application, and then go from there. So with that, there's that, but I can see some ability, some favorability I can get out of the notification remote fix and a few other things. So taking a look at Trello, I'm going to leave a link both to the Firebase, just the main website. Obviously, I can't do this because it's within my own thing. But Trello, I'm going to leave a link below to this. And that way, if you are just trying to keep tabs and you see I don't work on it for a while, you can let me know. It's like, hey, I don't see you working on this for a while. Are you still working on it? Whatever. And that'll be the way if I forget. Because I got a lot of things going on. I'm about to go back to school. I just graduated a month ago, I think. And I'm about to go back to school for my next degree. I got several other things going on the side. I have to do some actual work. So with that in mind, it's probably going to be fairly easy for me to forget that this project even exists, since it's a side thing, not making any money and whatever. So go ahead and bug me about that if that does come about. Obviously, if nothing happens for like a week or whatever, don't even bother bugging me up, or I'm putting you in a spam bin. So keep that in mind. But if nothing happens for like a month or whatever, like half a month to a month, then let me know, and I can let you know how things are. And also take a look at the GitHub, and I'll tell you how often stuff is updated, because some of these projects, some of these things will take some time, and with that, you can see on GitHub when it was last updated and all the other stuff, because you got to, in order to keep, if you make a clone of the project, in order to make sure yours is current, you got to know if I change anything, and that way you can merge whatever I have onto yours. So keep that in mind. I'm going to be adding things in here, but as far as you going in here, I might open it up where anyone comment. I'm not really sure. Maybe, and then if idiots come in, then I'll just, like, everybody's gonna get hurt again. It's one of those things where, because I'm doing it myself, and I'm not really collecting any money at this time on it, and probably will just release it for free, because it's gonna be open source anyways. So with that in mind, I'm basically going to be looking at it as just a side thing. You can obviously donate. You can go to Patreon and say that you're donating for this, or go to PayPal and say you're donating to this. The links will be down below in the description. But I'm not asking for that at all. I'm asking for patience. If you want to speed up the process, you can donate, and that way it puts a little bit of urgency onto this. But otherwise, it's just going to be a side thing. I'll be asking for patience at worst case scenario. But you can help out as much as you can, and the more you help out, especially with the list and some of the back end stuff, some of the stuff I'm going to have to figure out how it's going to work, and how it will look at the end. But if you can help out with graphics, if you can help out with the list, then that will massively quicken up this entire process. Keep that one in mind. But and if you want to help out in other areas, great. Share it at worst, and that helps out a little. But keep that in mind. So as far as that goes, for those of you who are wondering about the old application, I lost the code. I don't know where it went. It's probably saved somewhere on some backup, but because the old one was literally the checklist, and I think that's it. Maybe I have one or two extra things, but that was it. Where this one, it is, as I talked about earlier, you're talking about a full-on search. You're talking about a full-on status, so you can say, where are you going to get this? and you got to bring up maps and all the other stuff. So you're talking about a full-on list, a full-on status area. You're talking about a full-on checklist like before. You're talking about charts. You're talking about a few other things around that point, and there might be some more features that's going to be added onto it, on top of it. So feel free to let me know what other features you want, because keep in mind, you might be saying that's a lot and I don't want to overload you, but keep in mind some of the features that you might be wanting are even easier than just typing in a on-click listener. It's something pretty important to note that and if I don't feel your suggestion's gonna be a good fit, then it's not gonna happen, and I'll be pretty upfront with that if I respond. But if I feel like it's a great idea, then I'll be like, yeah. But there's no guarantee on it. It's one way or another. So yeah, as far as that goes, let me know if you want to see me actually code this. I don't think I'm going to do a live stream on this, mostly because of bandwidth issues and whatnot. But, and I like to take breaks quite often. But as far as that goes, if you want me to make recordings, maybe I'll do a live stream, who knows. But let me know, and I'll take a look at that and keep that in mind. And if you got any suggestions for future videos, then leave that down below, and I'll try to take a look at that and see what happens. If you got any questions or anything else, leave them down below. Check out my other videos on how to code this, how to deal with GitHub, and a few other things. If you want to know about Trello, like have an actual tutorial on Trello, then let me know, and I'll see what I can do. That one's going to be pretty easy to make if anyone wants. But beyond that, this has been Craig Bennett, founder and owner of Tech Reviews. Nope. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and please feel free to share this with the world so you can help out this channel. Share the channel, especially leave donations, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.